À Paris, la ville de l'amour. Personne ne parle, personne ne dit bonjour.
Elle s'endort en me parlant. J'ai acheté un... Ton passeport, dépêche-toi. Mon passeport. Et alors, Richard Badouri, ça commence. C'est Rachid Badouri. T'es arabe et t'es à Paris, cherche pas la merde, appelle-toi Richard.
In Morocco, when you're about to drink or eat, you say saha.
صحة.
And then the other one answers لايتك saha.
Okay. نحن بنقول صحتين.
صحتين.
The other one says عقلبك.
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 Yeah.
أيوة, I love it.
Rachid, welcome to Montreal podcast.
Thank you, Habibi. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Rachid, what's the dominant feeling of you right now?
The dominant feeling of, wow, what a great question. Wow.
Yeah.
The dominant feeling right now is, it's a mix of excitement for the future because I know I'm just starting, even if it's been 20 years. But there's another feeling inside of me, which is fear. The more your family gets bigger, you get married, you get 2 daughters, I got 2 beautiful princesses. There's also, that goes side to side with the excitement of discovering new things in my career. There's also the fear of always being able to provide, It's not a feeling that overcomes me or overwhelms me to a point where I can't sleep, but it's still there in the back of my mind. It tells me, hey, take some great decisions, but make the right ones. Not to be able to provide for your family would be a drama for me. It would be something that I wouldn't be able to accept.
Okay.
Yeah.
If someone has never heard of Rachid, what's the worst way to introduce yourself?
The worst way to introduce myself would be to say everything that I'm not. Yeah. If someone would introduce me to someone and say, this is Rachid, if someone would say, I don't know what they would, the worst, it would be like really the opposite of what I am. If someone would say, oh, this is a hypocrite Rachid, he's very hypocrite, he's very non-generous, he's very, that would make me feel sad because it's not what I am, especially. Or someone who describes me and doesn't know me, who thinks he knows me, that would also be something crazy.
Let's talk about stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
How has stand-up comedy impacted your life?
Deeply. Without stand-up comedy, I wouldn't be able to, maybe not even to be able to talk to you today. It has impacted my life in a very major way, to a point where it is the reason why I could live so well, that I could live my dream. My dream was always to do something that I'm very passionate about.
Okay.
And I'm lucky. I'm one of those rare lucky ones that could live from that and live well enough to not being in a situation where I need to work another job or a side job to do what I'm doing right now. And this is something that I'm very grateful. Very happy.
What's the biggest lesson you learned from stand-up comedy?
Is to take it for granted sometimes. When I started my career, I took stand-up comedy for granted. Why? I thought it was just going to be an entertainer.
Okay.
I was very physical on stage, where I used to dance a lot. I
Yeah.
used to. But then stand-up comedy kind of gave me a slap in the face, like saying, bless you, my love. This is my, did you hear the Syrian way of sneezing? It's not like the Lebanese way. It's the Syrian way. It's like, shlonik. It's not like, كيفك. It's like more like, shlonik. It's a different way of sneezing. But bless you, ya habibi. Yeah, so it gave me a slap in the face to tell me that, hey man, you should take stand-up comedy seriously. You should use this art form in its best way possible. And what I mean by that is that this is one of maybe the only job in the world where being vulnerable is the best way to approach it. To be on stage is just to be able to have great conversations like that. But of course, to add comedy and humor to it. But one of the best way to grab stand-up comedy and use it to its maximum potential is to use it in a very vulnerable way where you just let yourself go and say things that you would tell a best friend, you tell your audience. That's what your audience wants to hear from you. At the beginning of my career, I used to hide a lot of things. Not that I was, I wasn't a criminal or anything like that. It's just I was hiding. I was ashamed to say stuff. I always wanted to show like a perfect image of me. But now that I'm 48 years old and I went through so many things in my life, I like to take stand-up comedy in another way, saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to tell that story about how I called off my wedding 3 days before, it's a true story, how I was caught up in the cult, which I never thought it was for like so many years. It's not only the good things to talk about on stage, you could also talk about the bad things that happened to you, and there's always a way to make a joke out of it. There's so many dramas in this world. If we go outside right now, we take our phones and we look what's going on in the world. It's just crazy. Life's so short, So we need to talk about these things.
Yeah. If stand-up comedy is a mask,
Yeah.
who is the man behind this mask?
If stand-up comedy is a mask, who is the man behind this mask?
Yeah.
Don't you mean me, right? Okay. Like, la. We're talking about the Abul Abid.
Yeah.
So if I am behind the mask, who am I? I'm just this this insecure artist
Okay.
who's dealt with his insecurities
Okay.
a lot, still doing it. Yeah. I love to embrace that. I love to talk about this a lot because I'm like, wow, the more you face that, the quickly you get to the problem and you're like, wow, okay, this is something that I want to deal with. Yeah. I even talk about this on stage.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
What's the difference between Rachid on stage and Rachid in real life?
Depends what time of the day.
Yeah.
But there's a point in the day, there's a time in the day where the two looks the same.
Okay.
Because there's a time in the day where I act like a clown, like when I'm on stage, where I try to be funny. But usually, I got that lately. People were telling me that when they meet me in person, they see me smiling, very shy.
Exactly.
And also depends on the era, the period of time where you would ask me this question 20 years ago. I'd say it's the same clown, the same guy who wants to take the space, always wants to talk, never wants to listens, never let people talk. He always wants to talk himself and never wants to sit at the end of the table, always wants to be in the middle and have the attention on him. Yeah. But right now, I'd say it's different. But there's a time of the day, every day of my life where, with my kids or with my wife, because my wife is my biggest fan, I'm gonna act like I'm on stage, and she still laughs.
Wow.
That's the most beautiful thing about it, is that the beautiful thing about it is that she still laughs at my jokes, and it's an honest laugh. I would know if she would fake it, but it is real.
She loves you.
I don't know if she does.
She loves you.
I don't know. I have to ask her. Habibi, do you love me?
Do you love?
Yes.
Do you like to go back in time?
I'd love that.
Yeah. How was your childhood?
12 I didn't like.
Okay.
12 I was bullied a lot. I was the only Moroccan in the neighborhood, almost the only Moroccan. And I was bullied a lot by the French Québécois, the French Canadians.
Okay.
And didn't like this period at all. Felt rejected a lot.
Okay.
But then came 13 years old, 14 years old. I started hanging around with some Lebanese, Latinos, Haitians.
Okay.
And they were really stylish and they taught me how to dress better. So didn't have any money, so I used to go through my sister's wardrobes, and take some of the shirts they had.
Wow.
The buttons were upside down, but cares? I just took the shoulder pads out because they looked weird, you know. They had shoulder pads on their shirts, people. And I used to steal
That's for real?
I'm not joking, because back then, the style we had was called fresh. We were like little rappers, but chic, you know. We call it the rapper chic. And one of those polka dot shirts were very in style. They were in, so I used to wear those shirts. I used to steal my father, bless you, Habibi. I used to steal my father's perfume, Azaro.
Yeah.
Every morning he would wake up and say,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Why is this perfume so
full in the
It was full yesterday. Wow. Do we have a perfume thief here? It was yeah, so I used to wear I used to change my whole style, haircut.
Okay.
And I gained confidence, a lot of confidence in me, and then I wasn't bullied anymore. I was kind of the most popular guy in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that period when it started changing, because before that, I didn't associate myself with what was going on at school. I was bullied, and I didn't understand why. I just wanted to make friends, but I knew how to talk back because it was funny back then. I knew what to say to shut them up, you know.
Okay. And how was your relationship with your parents?
With my mom, Allah yahma, she up to now, I miss her so much. She was my, aside from my wife now, she's the woman of my life.
Okay.
You know, I can never cut the cord with her. You know, it was just she was my everything.
Okay.
Towards my sisters, she made me feel like I was right, even when I knew I was wrong. You know, it was just Rachid. I was like a Malik, you know, it was just like, it was the King Rachid. With my father, it was different. My father is the same, you know, immigrant story of our dads or parents when they come here and they work a lot. My father used to work, and used to be stressed with work.
Okay.
So there was no communication there.
Okay.
I remember when I was, I went to a friend's house. It was a French Canadian. I went to his house for supper, and then we went to play outside. Right before he left, at the door, the father was like, "Hey, wait, did you forget something?" And then he turned around and said, "No, what?" He says, and he looked at him like, and then my friend was like, "Oh yeah, I love you, Dad." I was like, "I love you too." And he left. I was like, "What? I love you? I love you. Never heard that. I love you. So I went back to the house, and the next day I brought my parents to this restaurant near the house, and I said, "I want to talk to you guys." And I read them a letter. I said, "From now on, starting from today, as of today, this is almost an order. Wow. I'm demanding that we say to each other, I love you. Yeah. Habbik, I love you so much." And my mom was like, "Yes? Well, are you okay? Do you have problems?" I go, "No." "You take drugs?" I go, "No, I don't." "What's wrong with you?" شو بك حبيبي? I want to say I love you. And never stopped from that day. Just, I love you.
Wow.
But it's almost like we loved each other so much, but it's almost like it wasn't something, especially with my dad, you know. It's like, just go, wake up, you go to work, come back, you stress.
So your relationship get improved, no?
It got improved, especially when my mom passed away. I got closer to my dad. Yeah, I love my dad. But my mom, the mother, there's something with mothers, it's just, especially with your boy, you know. The dad, it's the daughter. The mom, it's the son. You know?
Exactly.
I was everything to her. I was just the whole world. I remember when she got sick, Habib, when she got really, really sick, she went to see the doctor who was gonna operate on her. And let's say her appointment was at 2:30. She enters the office, she sits down, and the doctor was still writing some stuff on the file of her other patient right before, let's say, the 1:30 appointment. Yeah. But she didn't look at my mom, she just said, "Come in." She just told her, "Come in," and her eyes were still on the file, and my mom was very short. I remember she told me that story. She was very, very short. She was like 4'11" or something, and her feet wasn't touching. That's the doctor who told me that story, that her feet wasn't touching the floor. And she just stayed like this, and she was waiting. And the doctor still didn't look at her, and start writing, and she goes, what's your name? And my mom goes, oh, I'm Khadija Badouri. And she goes, okay. And she starts writing, and she still doesn't look at her. And my mom went like this, hey. And the doctor looked up, she goes, I don't think you heard me. I am Khadija Badouri, the mother of Rachid Badouri. And the doctor said, I started crying. I said, why'd you cry? She said, because I never seen, of all the patients I've dealt with, I never seen a mother so proud of her kid. The way she said it, it was like she was ordering me to say, hey, have respect. The lioness of all lioness just stepped into your office. The mother of Rachid. I'm thinking about something.
Wow.
Sorry about that. To her, it was like, Rachid Badouri. I'm the mother. I'm the one
She
who
was so
created.
proud of you.
Yeah, came out of me. So look at me. For the doctor, really, she could have got mad and got pissed off and said, okay, get out of my office. Don't hit on my desk, and what's wrong with you? But she didn't. Right away, she said, I saw how
was so
proud.
proud.
Yeah, how proud this mom was. I was like, okay. She learned a lesson from that. It was like, okay, this is crazy. This is proudness at another level, So, sorry about that.
What's your academic background?
Oh, not good. You want to change question? For the people that are watching from around the world, CGIP is what? CGIP in Lebanon or other countries in the world?
Yes, it's the same.
College?
Lebanon, yeah, it's college.
So
CGIP.
I didn't finish college.
Okay.
No, I had 2 semesters, 4 I think 4 semesters in college. And then I stopped to become a flight attendant.
Yeah.
And my father didn't speak to me for a whole year.
And what made you follow stand-up comedy?
It happened much later on.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 17, 18.
Okay.
I was 18 when I quit college. Okay. And then at 19, I became a flight attendant for Air Transat.
Okay.
And I started flying all around the world until I was like 22, 23, I think.
Okay.
And then I quit. And then I became a salesman at a store called Future Shop. Back then, today it's called Best Buy.
Okay.
They're the ones who bought Future Shop. And
Yeah.
I used to be a salesman there. I was a great salesman. There was only Algerians and Moroccans, the best salesmen you could get in the world. Sometimes they tell me, yeah, people say, oh yeah, I'm Lebanese, I'm a good salesman. Like, have you ever met an Algerian or a Moroccan? Wait till they show you how to sell stuff. And then I quit, and I became a comedian. I actually was I made a special tape of everything I used to do that I called funny. I made an amateur DVD.
Okay.
Because I used to host weddings with my wife's brother.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to be a wedding host.
Wedding host.
Yeah, and I used to do some funny stuff. And when it was really, really funny, my brother-in-law, Basil, used to tape me, record me, and then we put that on the tape, and then I sent that on every production company in Montreal. And one of them called me, was the Just for Laughs Festival, the Just for Laughs, the one, the biggest. Yeah. That's all, you need one, right?
Yeah.
I made 100 copies and only one called back. So they called me and they said, come and do an audition. And it's in front of an audience in a little small theater in Montreal. And you could bring some people to cheer you up.
Oh.
But he forgot I was Arab, right? So I told my dad, I said, Dad, they called me for an audition. And if I win the audition, they take me for those huge galas you see on TV. They're from all around the world.
Wow.
And my father said, prepare your text. Allah, I will prepare the army.
And the stage was full.
Yeah, but I didn't know that's what he meant. When I show up at the theater, I see all the crazy Lebanese sitting in front, all my friends from Laval, my Haitians, my Italian friends, my Greeks, my sister.
Everyone.
My sister had this sign. Go, Rachid, go. I go, put this down, I will kill you. Because they're gonna know that we brought the whole, let's say there was 100, yeah, let's say it was a venue, let's say 200 caps. There was at least 65 people from my neighborhood in the audience.
Wow.
And my father was like, don't be nervous, look. They're all here for you. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how I got in. I got auditioned, I got in, and then my career started there.
Was there ever a time when you were really hurting, but still had to make people laugh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell you the date. I could tell you the date. It was September. Imagine September 11th. No, it was September the 15th, I think, of 2011.
Okay. What happened?
My mom passed away
Okay.
in August.
Okay.
Yeah, and 2 weeks later, I had to do a show in Paris for the first time in my career. We were actually working hard to make things happen in Paris for the French world to know me, because I was only known in Quebec, in the province of Quebec, in French Canada. And I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. That's it. And it was on TV. It's going to be my first appearance on TV. And it was in a huge theater over there in France called Le Rex, Le Grand Rex. Okay. It's huge. And it was not only me, it was me and other comedians. It was like a special gala, you know? But it was on TV. It was going to be on YouTube.
It's a great opportunity, no?
Of course, first one. And I said, I don't want to go. And then my sister, my oldest sister, Saba, she's very wise. She came to see me and she said, you know mommy, right? You know Emme, how she is. Well, of course. Because you think right now, if she had the chance to come down on this earth and slap you, like big time, and tell you, you're not doing this. You have to go. You're not doing this. Oh no, I don't want to go because I'm sad. You know how mom was. She hated when we used to stop our own life for her. I mean, on her deathbed, like there was maybe a few hours left, she would, sometimes fall into a little coma and come back out and come back to her senses. And when she would come back, the first thing she would say was not, where am I? Or something like that. She would say, did you eat? Did you buy your car? Hey, is everything okay? Okay. And then she would go back. Then she would come back and say, hey, did you guys eat? Okay, go back home, I'm fine. You know what I'm talking about, the mothers, and yeah. So my sister told me that and I said, okay, I'm gonna go. But I don't wanna talk to anybody. And my manager back then said, you can't do that. You're gonna get there for the first time, you're gonna have a first impression of you and you don't wanna talk to nobody. But we should just tell them I lost my mom. It was okay. So I went to the theater and I was hiding downstairs. I wasn't in the green room backstage with everybody. I was just downstairs where there's the mechanic room. I was just waiting there. And then the makeup artist had to come down and do the makeup on me downstairs. I didn't want to go up. I didn't care if I sounded like a diva or something. I didn't care. I just don't want to talk to anybody because I would become aggressive. Yeah. Become very, I had a lot of anger inside me. And I don't know how it would come out. And I don't want to hurt anybody. Whether it was with my mouth, the words that would come out, or even physically, I don't know. I was just a lot of anger. And then they called me up. They said, hey man, you gotta go up. It's your time. It's your turn. I go up. They call up my name. I do this number. I did it maybe 100 times this number.
Yeah.
It's nothing special. It's funny, but and I finish. And then when I finish, I'm so exhausted because I was so stressed and so nervous. So I just bow down like this, and then I hear, and I look up, I go back up like this, and there's like, I don't know, maybe 2,000 people on their feet, screaming. I'm like, what the heck is going on right now? It's too much for what happened. You understand? It doesn't fit. It's not like I was did a magic trick where I disappeared. I came. It's a comedy skit. They don't know me. They never heard about me. Never ever. They're on their feet, talking, screaming. So I said, can you give me 1 minute? I'd like to tell you something. Just for 1 minute. I thank you so much for all this. I mean, I don't deserve that. Thank you. I lost my mom 2 weeks ago, and I was not supposed to be here. Yeah, I told him. Yeah, when I told you about stand-up comedy, you need to take stand-up comedy. You need to grab it by his real roots, and the roots is to just be real. And I told him, I lost my mom, and what you guys made me feel today, I will never forget this. But she will never forget this because she probably saw. She was watching me for sure. I'll tell you how crazy it was and how right you are that she was watching. A year passed, and someone sends me a link of that skit that I did on that gala. Say, hey mate, if you want to watch yourself, it's on YouTube now. I watch it and something bothers me, so I put it back. And then I stop it. I swear at me. I look at the video, I said, this is impossible. Behind me, the lights, you're a DOP, you know how it works, the lights in the back, it was like it was written mom in the back of me. And these were not screens back then where you could put letters. They were just little LEDs, like, okay, a view of his, and it was written mom. And on top of my head, there was a light like an angel. So I was like, maybe she was there that night. And she said, all of you, if you don't want me to hunch every night in your dreams, get up on your feet and make my son feel proud. So that's what it was.
Usually people talk about success,
Yeah.
but what did failure teach you?
Everything. Everything, Habib. You don't fail, you don't have success. You need to go through that system. Can't make an omelet without breaking an egg. It's impossible. Impossible. It taught me how to get up, never quit. It taught me the essential. I'm just human.
Okay.
Sometimes the attention you have from other people, especially from your fans or from people that are your followers, it makes you feel sometimes like you're invincible, but you're not.
Okay.
You're just not invincible. You're not irreplaceable. You're just a human. So that's what it taught me. It taught me everything. You need to go to that. Last thing I want to tell you about this. There was a producer, the first time I went in his office, very famous one. He did a lot of great things in his career. And every time I went to his office, I saw this frame on the wall. And I was like, this is crazy. It's like a government paper.
Okay.
I said, what is this, buddy? What's that, Habib? He said, oh, this is my first, how do you say, bankruptcy.
Okay.
I go, this is the papers from the government? Yeah. Yeah, I framed it. Not only framed it, he made it bigger in a gold frame. I go, why you put that there? Oh, it's just to remind me how many times I fell.
Wow.
I was in the hole of $3 million back then, and I was just 22 years old. Because that's the one I put on my wall every morning to see that you need to go through that in order to succeed. I was like, what? Right. So I put all my papers on them. All the times my wife wrote me a note to say, I hate you, I put it on the wall. This is my failure right there.
What's more important for you, friendship or love?
Oh my God, great question.
Yeah.
I think you can't live, it's like choosing between your dad and your mom, or your mom. It's impossible. Friendship comes with love, love comes with friendship.
Okay.
I don't think you could choose. No, I'm sorry. I take both.
Okay. Now, what does Morocco mean to you?
Wow. Morocco means everything to me. I was fortunate enough, blessed enough to have a double identity here. The Canadian one, the French Canadian one, and the Moroccan one. But the Moroccan one, I always saw myself as a tourist because I was born here until 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I was in France for 2 years, and my name was getting more popular and more popular in France, Switzerland, Belgium, all the places where they speak French, and they follow stuff from Paris. Then I get a call from Jamel Debbouze from Morocco, from France, who was also from Morocco. And he had this great festival called the Marrakech du Rire.
Okay.
Huge festival, comedy festival. It was his first year. He says, my brother saw you with his wife at your show, and we want you there. I go, yeah, let's go. And besides that, before that, I used to go to Morocco as a tourist. to go see my family, go to the beach and go to Casablanca and go see my family from where we're from. But I saw it as a country where I used to spend my vacation. Like you would go to I don't know, you go to Montreal for your vacation here or anywhere else. And that year I went to Morocco, we lost my mom for 2 years now. I brought my wife with me. I brought my manager. I brought my producer. I brought my father, my sisters, both my sisters and their husbands. And we went to do the show. And when I did the show was in a theater with an open roof.
Okay.
You could see the stars
Okay.
as I was performing.
Wow.
And the welcoming I had over there, the ahlan wa sahlan, or that I got from over there, it was violent.
Wow.
It was good, but in a violent way.
Wow.
To a point where they made me feel like maybe I lost my memory and I was born in Morocco and I left. And I told him, like Tom Sawyer, I said, you know, Habibi, I'll be back. I'm just going to Canada to make like a career here and there. I'll come back as big star, you know. But no, I remember, my passport, it says I was born in Canada. But they made me feel like I never left Morocco, like I was born there. And I fell in love with that moment.
They made you feel home.
They made me feel home, and I wasn't born there. And that's how Moroccans are. Wherever you are, you will be Moroccan. You cannot. There's a friend of mine named Benny Adams who came out with a beautiful album. Maybe you heard that song, Mok Mok Ya Mok Ya Mok. It's a beautiful song. And at one point, there's a guy in this song who says, Moroccan's nationality is not something that you just give away and lose. It stays there forever. So that day, it's like almost I was baptized by the Moroccan nationality, you know? And I even did my card, my national card there from the, I don't know how you call that, la carte nationale, we say in French. So I did that card, you know? So it means the world to me.
Wow.
Yeah. To be Moroccan.
For sure.
Yeah.
Who is someone you wish was still alive to see your success today?
My mom. Okay. Yeah, but more than that, forget about the success. I would love her to see my kids. I'm the only child. I'm the only of my sister. She saw my sister's kids, but she never saw mine. I would have loved for her to see my children. Yeah.
We're gonna play a game.
Yes.
Ready?
I love games.
Ready?
Yalla. Money involved?
Yeah, for sure.
Masaria.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
It's a deep game.
Yes.
Okay. Let's imagine that you are walking down a long, quiet hallway. At the end of it, there is a door.
Mm-hmm.
You open that door and walk into a room that exists only in your mind. This room has never been seen by anyone but you. Now, take a moment, look around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Imagine this room. What does the room look like? The size, light, feeling, ambience.
Well, first of all, the room is outside. It's a field.
Okay.
And there's just an endless field. And there's a huge, huge, huge table.
Okay.
And my whole family, my wife's family is there.
Okay.
And my mom is serving the food. And she's a bit mad because I'm late. And she's serving her famous bread and her famous couscous, sukso. And everybody's playing around, everybody's just having fun. And I don't want to go. I want to stay there.
Tell me about one object that stands out to you.
In that room,
Yes. Just one object.
it's a chair.
Okay.
And my mom is sitting on it. It's a huge chair, it looks like a king's chair.
Okay.
And my mom is sitting on it.
Okay. There is a big window in this room. What do you see through this window?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is happening there.
Okay. Would you stay for a long time there or leave?
I would stay forever.
Okay. Okay, كلام طويل man. Man, you made me cry.
No, sorry.
What was the best moment of your life?
The 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s were one of the best moments of my life because we used to be all together with the family.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good. Then there was other moments as good as this.
In your career?
In my career,
Yeah.
when I was discovered in 2005,
Okay.
that was the best moment of my career. I felt it. There was this feeling where I felt this was going to be bigger than me.
Okay.
Back in 2005. I can even tell you the date. It was July 13, 2005. Théâtre Saint-Denis in Montreal. Yeah, that day was one of the best days of my life, my career.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about your mom, but
Yeah.
I want to ask you something else. What was the saddest moment in your life that shaped you?
Her death shaped me.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
not to the man I've become today that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
My wife, the stories that happened with my wife,
Okay.
I'm not gonna go into details. One day maybe in another podcast. But what I've made this person endure, and how she stuck with me through all these years, I'd say made me very grateful. Yeah, and yeah, I'd say it's probably what shaped me a lot because yeah, being successful is I see kids today. Sometimes I speak. I'm so lucky. I'm 48 years old. I know I don't look 48, but
You look 30.
Habibi.
You look my age.
Wow. I know I don't look my age, but I have a lot of young followers.
Okay.
And when I meet them in the street and I take pictures with them, they ask me sometimes questions like, oh, how is it to be famous? I'd love to be famous. They don't even know why they want to become famous.
Exactly.
They just want to have the fame. But the fame is like a dessert after a long, it's like a reward after a long day of work. It's the passion, it's the vision that you need. You're not doing this to be famous. You're doing this because you love that. I could see it. You and your wife, you guys love that. You're in that field, but you don't know where it's gonna take you. And if one day you're successful, you know what? Well, thank you, God. But that's it. You're not aiming fame. You're aiming your vision.
Exactly.
So being famous has its downside, and one of his downside is that it makes you feel, like I said, invincible. And it does that and the ones that are suffering from that is not you, because you don't even know that you're flying high now and you're just becoming obnoxious and becoming like almost like a diva.
Yeah.
It's the people around you, the ones that love you. They're the ones who are suffering. It's like a collateral damage of your success. You don't see yourself changing all of a sudden and becoming so prideful and so, you know. So I'd say the failure that made me is how I failed my wife so many times is what made me a better man now. I'm not saying go and mess up your life with your life to become a better man. It's just that I had so many chances with my wife that today made me a better man, but I could have been very unlucky and lose her. Oh, for good, you know.
Oh.
Because no other woman would have, probably stay and say, you know what, I'm sticking with you because I believe you could change. I believe, but success does that to you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's international, so it's everywhere. It's just now it's on social media, so it's good, but you become a slave of your success. You remember you were talking about the mask. It's a very good way of describing it. The mask makes you become this other character that is not you. And the hardest thing to do when you become famous and you have a lot of success is to detach from that and just be you, whether you're in front of a camera or at your house or in your normal personal life. You know?
What's one thing people misunderstanding about you?
My heart.
Okay.
I see my wife going like this, without even looking. If people would know how simple it is to have the keys to my heart, they would be surprised, and they wouldn't use that. They wouldn't use it in a bad way. If people knew how simple it is to get the keys to my heart, but they don't know. They see, like I said, they see an image. Perceptions is very bad. It's something we all deal with. We have a perception of something, and then we realize that if we change side, the perception we had was wrong. It's always that. It's a judgmental society where we're always judging and having a different perception. And if they would see how easy it is to get the keys of a very special heart,
Yeah.
they'd be surprised.
Rachid, thank you so much.
That's it? Habibi, it was very good.
Rachid, thank you so
Your
much.
questions are amazing.
Really?
Yeah. Is it you, your wife, both of you?
Both of us.
Wow.
Both of us.
Yeah,
Mainly,
great mind.
mainly my wife,
Yeah.
Tima. She's the producer.
Yeah, yeah. Big
She's
shout
my
out to Tima. She's very
Thank you
good.
so much, bro.
But it was a great interview.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.